Do not ask the DM for complex geological reasoning to a question at 1 in the fucking morning. Hello and welcome again to Arguyles DnD Game Rant Vlog Episodic-failure-gasam Part 2 for session number 4. Yes, I missed the first two. Yes, it's because I'm lazy. No, I don't care. Okay, we didn't get a whole lot done this week. Partially because of crosstalk, partially because of character development, and partially because we had a psychology experiment to do for one of the players. See? 5th attempt to record the video, and I finally managed to not stutter that word. Sweet. Okay, so, basically the psychology experiment was to play the game in memory, and then a couple hours later, half of the people ate, and then we played it again, and see if we got faster or not. Some of us did, some of us didn't. We're not really here to talk about that. Let's talk D&D. Okay, so this week we all learned how to play Texas Hold'em. Well, I already knew, but I had to teach the players because I don't have a period card game or medieval-esque card game that I know. So until I know one, I got to work with what I got. And it worked out kind of because I had a bunch of pennies in my car, about $1.50 of them. So we played D&D for copper pieces. Yes, I know, pennies are mostly zinc. However, they look copper. That makes them copper pieces. Shut up. I'm the DM. I make the rules. Hey, moving right along. So they developed some interpersonal relationships, which I think is a very overlooked portion of D&D. Most tables are hack and slash, munchkin tables, whatever you want to call them. And a lot of people don't really, get into their character development and how they, if they like this other character, if they hate this other character, if they think they have a shitty haircut. They don't ever, they don't ever get into that. It's just kick the door down, kill the monster, take the XP and the gold, and the glory. And that's fun sometimes, but I think that the developing off the camera, if balanced in right, can be fun too. So we did a lot of that today, and we did it with the medium of playing a card game and talking, hanging out in the local tavern of the town that they've been doing a lot of great work in. So they're a welcome sight. So while they're playing this game, in walks a priest from a fire church, and they're like, "Hey, that guy's a priest of the fire church." And at first the cleric of the ocean, water versus fire, isn't really into that other guy, but he knows he's there. He respects him. The churches are opposite aligned in thought, but the deities are friendly to each other, and they know it, so they act nice, but they don't like each other. The humans don't like each other, but the deities are buddy-buddy. It's kind of odd, but humans are fickle like that. We get our god is better than your god, and that's the way it is. Which in real life, if they exist, they're probably chuckling our ass off at our stupidity down here. Anyway, moving right along. So they're like, "Hey, that's a deity of the fire god," and the priest has to think about it for a second. He's like, "Oh yeah, they're having a holiday," and their priests are out spreading the word, and the rogue's head goes bing, and we'll stop right there for a second as far as what's going on and delve into her backstory. Okay, so the rogue, her backstory is she was raised by her dad, who's also a rogue, but he wasn't allowed to tell her he was a rogue because that's the way his guild works. When she hit the appropriate age and so showed talent, he showed her the door and allowed her to get her initiation rites. And the initiation is fairly simple. They hand you a mission. It's not overly difficult, and they give you a lot of time to get it done. But if you fail, they kill you. Mostly because they weed out the thinnest, or get rid of those who aren't worthy, or they expect to kill you. If you just flee, then they have to run you down and kill you to make sure that people don't find out how to get into their guild and things of that nature. So they give her the mission: go steal this box from this noble. Goes beautifully for her. She gets it done absurdly fast, couple of days at most. And then she screws up because curiosity gets the better of her, and she breaks the first rule. And the first rule of stealing stuff is if you're sent to steal something, you don't look inside it. You don't need to know what's in there unless they told you. But she looked anyway, and she let a fire elemental out. And the fire elemental's a big piece of it, she figures. So, she had to run like holy hell, and she kept the box, but the fire elemental's gone. So now she's gone on this, quest to try and get the fire elemental back. And she goes, wait a minute, fire priest knows about fires, then maybe he knows about the fire elemental. Ding! And goes over to talk to him. And the guys continue playing their card game, and because they're like, whatever, he's a priest from another church, we don't really care about him. And so she goes over and she's like, hey, I got this problem, I got this box, I need to know what I can do with it. And he's like, oh, hey, yeah, I can summon bind the elemental for you, but I need you to do something for me, and I need you to pay me 1,000 gold. She's like, what's the favor? Well, there's this guy who's supposed to help me spread the word for this holiday, and he hasn't shown up, and he's late, and he came in from the stock from the west. If you can go look for him, that would be great. And if he's dead, if he had suffered a wreck, try and reclaim his holy symbol and come back with it, because that's important to me. Alright, cool, I can do that. So she rounds up the guys from the table, takes them up to her room, and she lets them in on her secret, because she's kept it from the party. Because if she told too many people, then it might get out, and, one or two ways it could kill her. One, the guy who owns the box could send out a squad looking to reclaim it and kill whoever has it, because it was stolen. Two, the guild finds out that, hey, look, you blew it, and it's public knowledge that you blew it, and so we have to send a squad because we can't look weak. Oops. Either way, keep your mouth shut, keep your head down. So she has to let her party in, but she's like, look, I trust you guys, but if you guys let this out, I have to kill you, just to protect myself. That's because they'll kill me. And so the bard's like, oh, hell no, I don't want none of that, and walks out of the room. And so then she tells the rest of the party, hey, and dumps their backstory out to them, and this is what I need to go do. And the rest of them are like, alright, I'm in. And the sorcerer is the bard's agent, so to speak, and he tries to get him gigs here and there, and they all make fun of him and the bard because they can't get a job anywhere because the bard's terrible, because he's low level, he hasn't found his style yet, or his prestige, but he'll come into it. And he goes, well, I can make sure the easy's coming, and all you gotta do is pay me 5 gold for 6 months, which is roughly equivalent to a executive person's pay scale. So, she bought him off for that amount of time. And they went out on the mission. And the getting there was no big deal. They got right up to about where they were headed to. They made camp just a little bit away, and they didn't explore around, which was kind of bad for them. They knew the coastline was a little ways off, and nightfall came. They made camp, made a big fire. Everybody goes to sleep but the Clairsator because he takes the first watch. Well, the Clairsator's got a good active ear, and he's listening, and he hears some climbing around on, like, wooden objects, which is kind of weird, because that's supposed to be beach over there, in the direction he's hearing it come from. And then he hears a bestial howl, and that's real bad. And so he starts throwing stones at party members to wake them up, because that's not good. That's not normal. And I rolled a random to see how long it would take the problem to get there. So as the party's starting to get, everybody's got woken up, everybody's starting to buckle themselves into their armor, because, oh shit, something's going down, don't know what it is. Some ghouls come tearing out of the darkness into the firelight. And basically what it was is, the party didn't know it yet, but a bunch of ships had crashed because the lighthouse is out and there was a false signal, and it was causing a bunch of ships to crash, and they haven't found the false signal yet. And it's caused a couple of the sailors to become ghouls, and so the ghouls are hungry, so they attack anything that's human, because human flesh, om nom nom. So they attack the party, and the Clairsator, after like 3 rounds of combat, says, enough of this shit, and rebukes all of the ghouls, and makes my encounter sad. But okay, that was fine. So they gang up on him and kill them once at a time, because otherwise it would cause it to break and maul them. And they got away with that pretty easily for a scary encounter. Party technical level 2, but Gestalt doesn't really have a level difference, so they're like 2.5, almost 3. And it was a CR4 encounter, and they got away out of it pretty easy. What else? So, we left off at the end of the session with the players walking up to the lighthouse in the morning. They searched the wreckage, and they found the treasure that was in it for the DC 20 check, succeeded by the rogue with a DC 26. And let's see, anything to complain about? Bardic Knowledge is still a pain in the ass. I'm still working on it, I swear to God. Chad, I'll get there. The Book of Nine Swords, also a pain in the ass. Trying to make the flavor work in and be useful at high level, because the way it's written, it doesn't work out right. So we're looking into fixing that. Because at high level, you can either use an ability, or you can just full round attack and hurt things. And most people will choose full round attack. And so I need to try and steer them back into wanting to use the damn book. Alright, as always, thank you for watching. I'll catch you next week when we finish up the campaign module, and I'll give you its name next week. Till then.